welcome to this simple yoga practice. This will take you a short period of time every day and is going to hit every area of the body. So what I've got here is a blanket that I'm sitting on and then also a chair. Okay. We're going to start off in seated. When you come into a seated position, if you have any issues with your knees or your low back, you're welcome to sit in the chair instead. Part of the point of having the blanket here is to prop you up. It's important that your torso be erect and that you're not rolling back off of your sits bones, because that's going to put a lot of pressure on your low back. Okay, so you may need more padding than I have right now. You might need a couple of blankets, but the idea is to get yourself nice and tall. So you're going to close the eyes, turn the palms of the hands so they're facing up. And let your attention settle into your breath. And with each new breath cycle, feel your body relax a little bit more. Most of us have so much going on from day to day, and our bodies take on that stress and that fight or flight reaction to all of the activities of the day. So as you sit with your breath, really check in with your body. Your breath can act like a bridge between your brain and your body to help you become more conscious of what your body is carrying. And especially as you exhale, feel that the skeleton is supporting the weight of the body, and therefore your muscles can really relax around that support. And as you inhale, sense that your rib cage is expanding wide. You're really taking advantage of the space that you have available to you in your lungs and even in your belly, letting your belly expand as you inhale. And then we'll do a breathing exercise to help settle into the body and to relax the nervous system even a little bit more. We're going to inhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling out for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. And then again, inhaling for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. This time, hold the inhale breath for a count of 4. And then exhale out, 2, 3, 4. And then hold that exhale out for a count of 4. And then again, inhaling 2, 3, 4. Holding 2, 3, 4. Exhaling out, 2, 3, 4. Holding 2, 3, 4. And then let your breath move fluidly once more through your body. And we're going to circle sweep the arms up. Bring the palms together at your heart. And then take one hand down to the floor, stretch the other arm over, getting a nice side stretch. Coming up to the top, going in the other direction, stretching over. Coming back up to the top, we're going to cross one arm to opposite knee. Other hand comes behind for support. And then going in the other direction. Using a kind of push-pull action with the hands. So you're pushing with your hand against your knee and gently pulling with your hand behind you. I'm going to come back up again, arms to the ceiling, stretching over, and then this time you're going to round and reach, opening up through the back body, coming back up, and then go in the other direction, stretching, round and reach, and then coming all the way back up. And then we're going to climb off of our blanket and unfold it a little bit so So you still got some cushion there, and then that way you can rest your knees on the blanket. If you find that you don't need the blanket, that's fine, but if your knees are sensitive, it might feel better. We're going into cat-cow here. So you're going to start with your tailbone and begin to articulate your spine up one vertebra at a time, rolling all the way up through your spine until you're in a flexed position. And then taking a moment here to breathe into your back. And then start again with your tailbone, unwinding one vertebra at a time. As you begin to open up through the front of the ribs, stretch your collarbone forward. Feel that your abdomen is stretching just a little bit. And then again, start with your tailbone and like a wave, roll your spine all the way up. Holding here, feel that your shoulder blades are spreading open across your back. Breathe into that space. And then again, unwind. Noticing any areas in your back that have a little harder time articulating, you might want to spend some more time in those places to help create more flexibility. And then as you come into your extension, feel a little bit of tone still in your low belly, so that you feel like you're trying to flatten your low tummy a little bit, even as you allow the whole abdominal wall to stretch to accommodate your extension. And then we'll come back to center. And I'm going to lay down on your tummy. I again have the blanket here. If you have low back issues, you might need a little extra support. The blanket is meant to fill in the gap that can be created sometimes. If you have a lot of curve in your low back, which I don't, but if you have a lot of curve in your back, you may need to pad up a little bit more to help get that curve out and give you a little bit more support. So you could fold up your blanket more so to help with that. Hands are going to come at the shoulders, nose is hovering over the floor. The legs could be together or apart. Feel here that your tailbone is starting to lengthen down towards your heels. So again, this is all in an effort to help protect the low back. And then begin to broaden the collarbone by drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. And then simultaneously peeling your spine up off the floor. Feel here for gently hugging the heels of the hands downwards. It should feel as if the heels of the hands got stuck on the mat as you were trying to pull down. And then slowly coming back down again. Continuing to work with that deep breath pattern. And the breath will help facilitate more functional and dynamic movement throughout your body, but especially in your spine. Be aware here as you come up that you don't want to overly lift your head and look forward. We don't want this to be a neck exercise. This should feel like it's really working your mid-back. And again, if you feel it in your low back, you're going to have to create more of an effort. You may need to engage your glutes to help draw your tailbone down. And you can also limit how high you come up. So I'm coming up pretty high. You certainly don't have to come up that high. You could just hover up off the floor and then go back down. And we're going to push back and go into child's pose. Knees again could come onto the blanket. Knees are about shoulder distance apart, and then the big toes are together. And you're going to sit back towards your heels and rest your forehead towards the floor. If for whatever reason that position's uncomfortable, you can come back to your cat stretch and get that counter stretch. Anytime we extend the spine, we want to come back around and flex the spine as a counter stretch. All right, so we're going to come rid of our blanket. You can put that off to the side. And we're going to come up here with hands on the chair. So we're going into a supported down dog position. Feet are about hip distance apart. You're going to start to send your hips back and drop your chest forward. Once you send your hips back, your hips should be just about over top your heels. And then as you drop your chest down, depending on the flexibility in your shoulders, your chest might drop really low, or you might be up quite a bit higher. Okay, if you have any issues with your rotator cuff or if you experience any pain in your shoulder when you're doing this particular pose, just keep the chest lifted quite a bit. You'll still get that great hamstring stretch. So to help facilitate the hamstring stretch, try to hug the kneecaps up the front of the thighs. Okay. That'll help to give support to the knees, but also increase that hamstring stretch. From here, we're going to slide the left foot forward and step the right foot back. So the left foot is just underneath the seat of the chair, and then your back foot, you're resting on the ball of the foot. Begin to drop the hips down a little bit and lift the chest. Lifting the chest will help to open up the front of the hip even more so. And then you're going to step your back foot up a little bit, go back to your supported down dog. And then we'll do the other side. So this lunge is meant to open up the hip flexors. By again lifting up through your torso a little bit, you're going to help create some traction between your ribs and your hips. The psoas muscle, which is one of the hip flexor muscles, connects up into your rib cage. So by lifting the ribs a little bit, you'll help to give more stretch there. And then again, just take your time in the transitions, go slow, and then going back again to your down dog. We're going to bend the knees a whole bunch and walk the feet forward so that you can roll yourself up to the top. And then I'm going to take a wide stance. Hands will come to your hips. And then begin to fold forward. Sending the hips up and releasing the neck and head down. Now you can do this without the chair, or you could also do it with the chair. And the chair is always there to give you that little extra support, particularly if you feel this in your low back, or if you just don't feel like you can sustain the stretch. And then either propped up on your fingertips or again with hands on the chair, we're going to do side lunges. So you're bending into one knee and then the other knee. So this is going to help open up the inner thigh of one leg, while at the same time working and strengthening the opposite leg. And then we'll come back to center, step the feet back together. We're coming into a plank now. So again, hands could be on the chair, but you could also bring your knees down. If you feel like having the knees lifted is too much work, bring the knees down. Either one is a really great workout. It's going to help to strengthen your abs. Be sure when you're in this position that you're not sinking into your shoulders. You really want to push away and think long in your neck. And then we're going to step back down again, come back to a seated position. Once more, if you need that blanket, feel free to grab it. And we're going to stretch out the neck, letting the neck and head stretch from shoulder to shoulder. And take care with the neck. You don't want to overly stretch from side to side. If we're talking 0 to 10 stretch, 10 being the most extreme stretch you've ever felt, we're looking for about a 5. And that's really the case with all of these exercises. We're not looking for a really intense stretch, especially when you're first starting to practice yoga. We want to be gentle and protective of the body. And we'll come back to center. And then you could finish your practice today just by laying on the floor. Let yourself breathe and relax for a minute or two. All right, thank you so much.